Stroke is a focal neurological deficit, which is of no other origin but cardiovascular in origin.
Depression is the leading cause of disability. Depression on its own is a persistent feeling of sadness, a persistent feeling of hopelessness.
Welcome viewers to this week's episode of Health Watch on Advent Cable Network Nigeria. I am Angela Weze. The rise in sexual abuse cases in Nigeria is scary, worrisome, and an ugly phenomenon, especially the sexual abuse and exploitation of minors, and that is underage girls or boys. It is nothing short of impunity and is being perpetrated with such rampancy and violence that has left many like myself asking, what is really going on? There are no recent statistics on the number of rape cases in Nigeria or many countries in Africa. The Nigerian Bureau of Statistics reported in 2017 that more than 2,200 cases of rape and indecent assault was recorded. But experts say that the true number of rape may be much higher. On the program today, we shall be analyzing the issue of rape and probably looking at it from a different angle from what we have always looked at it. Why will anybody want to sexually take advantage of a young girl or boy, teenager, adult, or whoever? My guest on the program today is pharmacist Nevan Bello. She's a consultant pharmacist and a public health analyst. Nevan, welcome back to the program.
Nice to be here.
It's good to see you.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you for coming.
Welcome, viewers.
Yeah, you know the last time we talked on drug abuse, and
Yes,
it was really
exactly.
it was an amazing discussion. But today we want to speak on something that I don't even know how to say. It is a painful thing to even talk
honestly,
about.
It's horrible.
Yeah, but I don't want to look at it from the general way. I want to understand what is going through or going on in the mind of a rapist, and let's see what also goes in the mind of someone who is also a victim of it. So we want to try to see how we can help somebody who might just be going through, this problem. But just before we start discussing all of that, let's understand the concept of rape. What exactly is rape or sexual abuse, as the case may be? So how do we define that?
Okay. Rape is actually a sexual, well, I'll call it a behavioral disorder.
A behavioral disorder.
Yes.
Okay.
So, but like we know, rape is actually a sexual act. And when sex is consensual, that means the party agreed to it. We call it consensual sex. But when the parties involved are not mutually together, that means one party did not agree, did not consent, it's called rape. You know, it's coercive sex. That means you took it without the will of the other partner, because sex occurs between two people. So going back to say, rape is a behavioral disorder because you need consent for any relationship to go on in life. So rape can be of different types. We have what we call opportunistic rape. That happens, let's say, during war.
When people win and then they have to...
or during just the war situation when you're evacuating people, or you're taking over the settlement. Some men take advantage of it and rape women there. You know, during armed robbery, you came to steal a car, you came to steal household belongings and just stole rape. You stole sex, actually. So it's rape, you know. And then we have rape due to anger. We have other forms of rape that psychologists will call sexual non-sadistic rape, which could have the arousal comes from a fetish, you know, intonation, or how do they call it, you know?
So somebody who is into something diabolic.
Yes, diabolic.
Or,
yeah, you could find someone, you hear stories of an 18-year-old boy raping an 82-year-old woman, or going to rape a mad woman. You understand? You don't really have a relationship or a romantic, then you're wondering why that person is going for such. Even pedophiles, that's those who rape children under puberty, that's pre-pubescent age, from age 10 to 2 months old babies, for God's sake. So you can imagine that. It could have that fetish intonation. Then we have the sexual sadistic rape, which some is just like a revenge. You hear the psychology of some young men or young boys who, while they were young, felt they were disadvantaged. They weren't the happening guys. And then some girls were there laughing at you. That's just an example. And then you grow up later and be like, I'm going to revenge. And you know, it's like you're pouring out. Or you have men that research has shown that if a woman is doing better than them, and that's where the marital rape also comes into. Some studies showed that women that were advancing educationally more than their partners were raped by their husbands. You know, in the marital setting, we don't really categorize it as rape.
Yeah, because it's difficult to prove.
It's
I know there was a time
to divide the line.
Yeah, divide the line.
Yes.
Men will stand on their feet and say it's not possible for you to have rape in a marriage.
And I want it. So even if you said no, or you're not in the mood, you're my partner, and I have the right, the legal right to have it. But when the woman says no, I didn't consent to it, she can term it as rape. So you see, that's where still legally people are having to draw the line between, you know, consent and coercion. So, but things like that happen when, due to the dominance, you know, the ego, the masochism of a male that wants to dominate, wants to show aggression. You know, they're speaking a language actually, but in a violent way.
So, which means, you know, when we talk about rape, when we even think about it, even when I was reading it, to be honest, the first response is anger.
Yeah.
You know, why would you want to do that? I think I remember in the university, I escaped rape just narrowly. You know, it was, and even at that, I was feeling bad. I was feeling, why would such a thing happen to me? Or why would anybody want to do such a thing?
That's a pre-event.
That's a pre-event. It didn't
imagine
even
the
happen.
feeling you had.
The feeling. So I can imagine what somebody who has gone through it. But now raising all these things, it means there's something going on in the mind of somebody who is taking advantage of another victim. You know, sexually. How do we even try to unravel that? What is going on in the mind of somebody who would, let's even start with the one of ego.
Okay, let me try to explain the interesting thing I discovered about the psychology of a rapist. You know, life is never just in portions. We flow from childhood to adulthood. And I would like us to understand that what you see an adult exhibiting had an introduction from a childhood experience. Research shows that most rapists had an early life, you know, experience, either with physical abuse, parents abusing them. You know,
when you talk of physical abuse, that's beating and bullying, or you know,
bullying, either from your mates or from your seniors, or you watch, either experiencing or watching. That's how bad it is. Watching a father beating a mother, or how parents treat themselves, or sexual abuse itself. In fact, sometimes it's a multiple of all of them. Sexual abuse, physical abuse, you understand? Because you find out that people who rape are actually antisocial. It makes them to grow up to become numb. They are insensitive to the emotions of another person, especially the opposite sex, and they don't empathize. So they become antisocial, and you know, it propels it. You find out that when you grow up in a normal setting, even dysfunctional homes, you find out that some people unfortunately don't handle it well. After there's a divorce, then they grow up with this uncertainty and mistrust towards the opposite sex. So they don't develop a normal relationship with a lady later on in life.
You know, I like what you're saying, because every human being, you're born on this earth. You're just like a blank flash drive, a blank slate. Nothing has been added to you. So something has to lead to this issue of you becoming violent.
You don't just start it like that.
You don't just start it like that.
Something led to something.
And it's taking its roots back to the family.
You may not even realize that that's what's happening to you. If it was never traced, you may never trace it to a childhood experience. You find people who love abusers. Do you know they may just be trying to heal? How did you fall into the hand of an abuser when your father was abusing your mom? You psychologically wanted to solve a problem and fell in love with an abuser thinking you could solve the problem that was in your father. It just flows like that, but you may not even know that that's what is happening to you. You fall into the same trap that happened. Then some people just say, this thing, they swear for the girl, her father was abusing her mother, they killed her mom, they also killed her. But it also flows like that. We could give examples. But you find, I'm sure if I won't mention names, a music star that went into an addict, fell into the hand of an addict as a lover. She died as an addict, and her daughter died not long after from also an overdose of drug addiction. Will you start just saying it's genetic? But it flows because it's what you see. We're visual beings, and so we learn by what we see more than just what we hear or we're told. So going back to this rapist, after those childhood experiences, they now get into this teenage age, which is very interesting. I found out that the part of the brain that controls aggression, violence, and sexual arousal comes from the same brain structure and is fueled by the same hormone called testosterone. Right. So, if a child is already distorted in his learning abilities from childhood, he gets to the teenage age and doesn't know how to separate violence from sexual arousal. And things that both have to go together. And just imagine you don't have a father figure that gives you a good example or teaches you to respect the boundaries of a woman. He doesn't even see it happening around him. He doesn't know any other better school than what he already knows.
And this is really I can't imagine how many families. I didn't really know all of this.
Just imagine what happens. So at that point in puberty, we call it a learning disability. But don't forget, it came from somewhere.
It has already started from somewhere.
So every depraved mind you see has its root from pain, guilt, shame, anger that muddles up and later in life finds expression as what we call rape, child sex offender, a woman abuser, cultism, drug abuse, prostitution. You find girls who are into prostitution and drug abuse were sexually abused when they're trying to escape from the reality of the problem, and they keep dousing themselves either on the streets. If you hear stories of a lady, her foster parents, you understand, the father was the one that kept abusing, the woman was watching, didn't do anything about it.
Because that's becoming rampant.
Yes. And then let's say she left the house at 9, she'll fall into the hand of streets people, and someone will be like, you could be good for prostitution, getting money, help us peddle these drugs, and that's the life she will get to know and get entangled more. That's where we know that the life gets useless until God helps and saves.
So, it's easy for us to look at somebody who has raped or done something that sexually abused somebody and just label him as, throw him into prison, take him to 20 years in prison, castrate him, pass the law and all that, but we're not actually dealing with the problem. The problem is from the home. It still starts from the home. I don't think there's any child that has been born and he was born a rapist.
No.
He was born and then he learned the act or was trying to defend.
Innocence was taken away from him, and that's the only life he or she knew, and we'll just grow with it. And sometimes even may not even want to express it as rape or being a pedophile, but you're voicing out that pain, and that's the only way you know how to voice it out.
So if I want to understand the body, sometimes things that happen to us, our physical body is shouting louder than even what our mouth cannot say. Our body starts to say. And this is what we are dealing with.
And that's why it's because you're a soul spirit dwelling in this body. You actually moved from inside out. So you act out before you even can explain what happened.
I think we need to go on a break. When we come back, there's a whole lot I'm learning from this today, and I believe you are. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after the short break. Welcome back, viewers. Before we went on the break, we're discussing the psychology of sexual abuse, or we can even call it psychology of rape. And my guest is the pharmacist, Nevan Bello. Thank you so much.
Thank you too.
We're about to continue this discussion. So now we have seen it's a whole lot, you know. So as I keep saying, no child was born a rapist.
Yes.
He was actually born, and then things were put into him. He was born a blank slate. So now there may be somebody watching and is noticing that, oh, there's this desire that I have in me. I've noticed some of these things you've talked about. What should the person be doing? Because I really want, instead of dealing with the act, there's a root cause, and there should be a solution to.
And just like you said, instead of handling it just like a criminal justice, you know, just punish, we should start looking at the public health, mental health side of handling them, because after a prison sentence, it doesn't stop.
Yes.
It doesn't end.
So I go to the prison and learn new methods.
Yes. And even want to come back and take vengeance on those that put him there.
Thank you.
You know, different things. But I would like to advise anybody out there because most times they get expression at puberty stage, when your organs are developing, you understand, the brain is developing more, and then it will take sensors from you know what it has as from the memory bank, which is your childhood. You need to be able to open up. The Bible says there's time to open, there's time to close. You know, there's time for everything. So there was a time when these things you didn't really understand, but try to find, where is this stemming from? I always encourage self-talk. You understand? Talk to yourself. David encouraged himself in the Lord. You know, there's some things that you tell yourself, be calm, you know, sit down. Who am I? Because that's also the time of self-discovery. So you have to know where you're coming from and where you're going to. And if you have to move further, you have to clear what you had behind and drop some luggages. Just like we always do in health. You will detox when there's congestion, isn't it? So that your system can flow better. And that's how it is. Always try to decongest. Even when you had old clothes, you will weed them out. So what am I trying to say? You will get to points when, if the psychology you had built over time wasn't the normal, you need to seek help. You can't do it on your own. You need to seek help.
So if you're seeking help, are you going to the hospital?
If you have a good family background, you have a good father. If you don't even have a father, because this is one of the things, Angela, that the devil is doing. You know, his mission is to steal, kill, and destroy. So he takes fathers out of homes very early in children's lives. So that figure is not there to train them when they really need help. Both a lady and a man needs a father in their life. But God has not left us on our own. He has always left us with help. There are people that have even come into our lives that have become a better father or mother to you than what you had at home. So we don't have an excuse. It's just like having an orphan being born and became a millionaire, and then those that had parents would still have excuses. So there's no excuse to make it right in life. So God will always lead us. If we really need help, we really are seeking help, God will lead us to the right people.
Like in the church as well, the church has good counseling. To advise, even the churches should ensure they have good counseling sessions. And counselors.
And counselors should always come in pairs.
Oh, yes?
Okay. Yes. Because if I'm seeking for help, I won't go to just one, you understand, maybe the opposite sex, and just, you know, it's always good to always include both parties so that you have a balanced side to whatever counsel you're giving. So I'll always say seek help, because, you know, there are myths that people grow up with. They think that when a lady says no, she actually means yes. A young person needs to know where to draw the line, you know, to be able to respect the view. It starts from how you beat your younger sister. You should respect a lady. You know, the next thing is, if she says, I don't want to play again, you stop there. That's where it is. But if you keep pushing further, if you find out, rapists will always tell you that they have had a first experience and it went through well. because they pushed further.
Yes.
Like I told you, testosterone hormone can give you, if you see it in an animal being displayed, there's no sensitivity.
There's no sensitivity.
Yes.
No.
He just takes what he wants and goes, But you even see animals being sensible. They lure by putting on flowers, trying to lure the female. Then how would you, a more advanced human made in the image of God, condescend to a lower level than even some of these animals? So, and when some male think that it's an animal instinct, it's an instinct, or yes, it's a feeling that should not be curbed. But we learn that we have the control of the Spirit of God.
Yes.
So this is where control comes in. Patience, self-discipline. Yes. So you could have people who will teach you, who will guide you through this. And it starts from daily normal life before it now transcends them.
There's something you said that is that's just ringing in my head about, when a sister is saying to the brother, I don't want any more.
Yes.
Sometimes parents just feel, a mother will come say, it's your brother now, obey now, and all that. From there it has started. So parents should watch out also for these things. You should be able to say, listen, respect. Because what you put in the child as
his views.
As a minor, as a little child, they grow with it. So you learn to tell them, look, when somebody says no, you apologize and step aside.
If the person gives you the room to come back, you come back.
Yes. So it helps the child become. So which means this thing still has its roots in the family.
Angela,
mommy and daddy, very important.
Which was the first institution? Home. Apart from giving Adam a partner, he told them to raise a home.
Yeah.
And nobody came here alone. You came through a father and a mother.
Yes, you can't come alone.
Forget what the society is trying to say. Same here. Woman can bring pikin. No. God made it that way.
And for a reason.
Because that's your strongest, most supportive unit. And so when the devil came to break it, he knows that that's the root problem of everything. Angela, look at any vice. There is something that goes back to the home. And you know that before you even start talking about school, even because we do crèche now, before you actually went to school at age 3, do you know almost everything that you should learn to work with for the rest of your life develops at age 3? And don't forget to go to school from that age. If not because we've taken it lower now. In months, you take a child to a daycare. But ideally, if you were to go to school, you were going to start after 3. And scientifically, psychologically, what you needed to go through life was already imputed in you from the home front.
But these days at 1 year and the child is on their own, being raised by somebody you're not even sure of.
I was studying learning multiple languages. Do you know that a child at 0 to 8 months old of birth could pick any language on earth? So you can imagine, it's even lower than we're thinking.
So because I have a little niece who the house help is the lady helping her is from the north. So I hear her speaking some northern things. And then everybody's like, what is going on here? We need to
She can pick.
You
will be so shocked if you present Mandarin to her. She'll pick it. French, she will pick it.
Because the mind is even.
It's a sponge. The mind of a child is a sponge. He just sucks in.
So I think
as much, and don't underrate what a child can know.
Yes, at that age. So I think even parents, so as much as possible, anything wrong, keep it away from children.
And feed them with the right things.
Feed them with the right things. Because this
the
is the
right
standard
visuals. I see when my child was very little, if he sees a little tension between mom and dad, he just come to my face. He just look at me, hold my eye, mommy, are you okay? And then you'll be like, how did this child sense it?
Yes.
So
that's where you pick up this.
Yes.
So it's not really that the person, yes, of course, has a problem because he has grown with it. But the thing is that the problem was put in there from the home front.
And even sometimes without saying it, that child already has grown up with an insecurity. The parents might keep saying, no, everything is okay. But he has sensed it without those words, beyond what you're saying. he or she has become insecure and can grow up with those fears that affects later normal relationships that they should build, because we're social beings.
Yes.
God never created us as islands. Why do you think pedophiles are always loners?
Actually, very silent. They stay on their own, and you can't even figure. I know a popular musician who very popular, everybody knows, and then suddenly you're finding some strange things to small boys. And I'm wondering how. But we know that there are rooms that nobody comes into. I mean, this room I want to be alone. You know.
And you know, unfortunately, those that are caught and put into prison are what we call the generalist rapists. The specialized ones go unnoticed. And they're the daily ones you see around. And that's why we, you know, don't take anybody for granted. Those are some of the things we need to ward off as young people, whether a male or a female, because a rapist is a hurting person and expressing his hurt in the way he knows how to do it.
So now, if you find yourself in a situation where you're finding it difficult, because sometimes when they're alone, some people might not need solution, but some people don't know who to go to say this is my problem. So which means you need to look out for their psychologists even in the hospital, and you know that you can psychiatrists that you can walk into and say help me. And then even if you don't have a family, a family that's together, you can go to your local church. Well, I'm insisting on church because this is a Christian channel, but you can go to your
God has given us a family that's larger than just the nuclear
exactly. God was wise. He knew He's all wise. So he knew that
He made the whole world a community.
Honestly. And then there are uncles, there are aunties, there are people that you can go to identify somebody and speak to the person.
And once you speak your problem, you know, they say a problem shared is a problem half solved.
Very true.
In talk therapy, I can't explain it, because even the Lord told the children of Israel, come now, let's reason together. You know, there's somewhere when you come to the table and you present it, it finds a way.
It finds a way, a solution. You can even get yourself, you know that at least I've said this out.
And you're expressing, you'll be finding things even about yourself that you didn't even know. Bringing out, analyzing. So these two things will just come together, and then and that process of self-discovery leaves you even elated. Better than where you're coming from, because you're in a dark room, and if somebody helps you to just open a pinhole, you see the light that can help you open the door yourself, you're happy. And we can't do it on our own. We're meant to lean on each other. So it's a good thing to come out, and just like going to the victims of rape, you also need to open up.
That's the next thing I wanted to talk about. Now we've talked about the rapist, and I know there are people watching, and I don't know if there's anybody watching and you know you're going through this thing. Please speak out. You can also write to us. The numbers and the email will scroll on the screen. If you need help, we can always find out how to get you the nearest help you can get. Please don't die in silence. Please come out. There's help out there for you. Don't take advantage of another person. It doesn't matter how old you are, because some people think, oh, I'm already 50 and I've been doing this. At 50 you can actually start a better life. You know, there's no time limit to what you can do. Please. And the next thing I want to talk about now is the victim. That, because when I just remember, sometimes when I tell people, that I was almost raped, you know, it's even shameful to talk about.
Can you imagine?
But you know, I've grown now, so it's easy for me to say it and then tell other people, you know, this is what it is. And it was actually by somebody that I trusted. I felt, you know, would.
This is so practical.
I didn't think
he would take advantage of it.
I think that it was just a miracle from God that saved me on that very day. But now the victim, the way I feel, I know how I felt.
How did you feel? Just put an adjective to it.
I was feeling reduced.
Beautiful.
I was feeling less. I was feeling
less than
everything
yourself.
You look at me, all you can see is somebody you can just do this to
and then dump.
Don't dump. You know, that was how I felt. So it didn't happen, but I was feeling that way. I can then imagine how somebody who actually went through the process once, but there are other people that have gone through it severally. I don't know.
So you can imagine, okay, for a one-timer, a one-time victim of rape, the first feeling immediately after the incident happened is fear. You have the shaking, tremor, you know, numbness, you know, scare. Anything could just trigger an anxiety. Then they could go into a state of numbness. That is silence. Nobody may even get to know.
Yeah.
They may not even be able to open up because there's shame there. There's guilt of, I could have avoided it. And just like you said, that shame of feeling, okay, the shame first of feeling I'm being reduced, I've been used, you know, then that guilt of, I could have done something about it. I could have avoided it. Then there's the fear of if my story will be accepted. Because, you know,
if people will believe you.
People will believe you. So that fear makes you to even shut up. And sex is not an issue. If it wasn't consensual, it wasn't an issue. Imagine that people don't even talk about a happy sexual experience.
Yeah.
Because it's a private issue. Then imagine if it was distasteful. It is even worse to talk about. So after a few days or weeks, they go into a depression. It's normal because you didn't talk about it. Even those that talked about it could still slip into it. But until you have good family or friends support and you're able to open up, then the healing process can then start, because all this while you're still in denial and it's still bottled up.
So this is for somebody that has been raped, let's say once. And the feeling, you know, one thing is just if you can summon the courage
to open up. Yes.
Just summon that courage.
Yes.
Don't worry about what people will say first. Just open up first. It will even help you.
Yeah.
When
you will heal faster.
You will heal faster.
You will heal faster because because people, at the point of opening up, some people could go on two divides. One is finding revenge in the path of anger. You know?
Yes.
And another could take the path of forgiveness. But you have to open up first before you could either come on this junction. And as a Christian, I'll advise you to take the right path of forgiving the person, because it's, first of all, forgiveness is setting a prisoner free and discovering that prisoner is you. Do you understand? Once you forgive, you've given room for God to do his work, because you can't, there's no amount of vengeance, you know, that will take place that will satisfy you. That wound may never be closed. You know, some people will say, until justice is meted to this person, I may find closure. Ask those people after the person has been imprisoned or even killed. If you're sincere to follow up that patient, may not have even found full closure. Because even if you exhume that body and punished it again, the person may still not have given out everything.
We want to go on the break now, but before we'll come back and continue this. But one thing is a lady said to me who's very special. She said to me that don't feel like the victim.
Yeah.
It's the other person that has the problem.
That's it.
You were not the one
You
with
were
the
not the one
problem.
that had. And you set yourself free.
You set yourself free. Yeah. We'll be right back.
Crossfire is a program that treats controversial topics on diverse issues surrounding the church and the society.
Technology drove the inflow or the outbursts of people having Bibles because of printing technology. Same way, the digital revolution has also made it possible for people to have Bibles in various formats in their hands.
As an Anglican, I believe in Anglicanism. And Anglicanism is standing on the tripod of scripture, tradition, and reasoning. When we are about to read the Holy Gospel, all members will be made to stand up. Assuming the Gospeler read from the phone, and he says this is the Gospel of Christ, you are likely to confuse a lot of people. Because people will be seeing phone in your hand.
In the history of Holy Communion, sir, we've never heard that somebody contacted the deeds from the other person.
I think, sir, the truth is that when people are gathered together and anything happens, whether it is an earthquake or it is a disease or anything, it spreads faster and there are more fatalities. That's just what I'm talking about.
The first evangelist in the Bible was the woman of Samaria that Jesus met at the well. Immediately this woman met Jesus. She went into the town and started telling everybody that come and see somebody who told me everything about myself.
The women actually supported the ministry of Christ, supported the ministry of the apostles, but they were never called apostles.
Welcome back, viewers. Before we went on the break, we were still discussing rape or sexual abuse and rape, but now we're talking about those that have gone through the acts of the sexual abuse, and Pharmacist Nevan is still here helping us expatiate on this. I can't thank you enough for today.
I'm also grateful to be here.
Even also good talking about it, you know, and really, I'm just trusting God there are people watching and that we get relief from this.
I believe.
So we have concluded that if you've been a victim once, just open up, just talk about it, and don't look at yourself as the person with the problem or as the low person. No. It's him who has the problem. We've talked about the problem of people that have psychological problem. He's the one with the problem. Not you. So you can pick yourself together, talk about it, and come out.
You know, because that's even one of the myths that people believe, that a woman attracted rape to herself. Maybe, did I dress badly? Did I behave badly?
That is very common. There was a time people were talking about it, and some women said, the way women dress these days, it will make men. No. It is not our problem.
The baby wearing the pampers.
Exactly. So why would somebody want to rape that kind of person?
Or somebody covered from head to toe in puder.
Exactly. It still happens.
What did I do? Nothing. You don't have to do anything to attract, you know, an evil person. So, but all those need to be put behind, you know. And you need to move forward. And to move forward, you need to open up, like we said. And, you know, then, like we're talking about from the medical side, you don't wash up immediately after.
When it happens.
When it happens, you go quickly to a medical facility so that a swab could be taken and maybe specimens taken, so that even if you need to take it legally, there are evidences.
And the reason why it's very important that you don't wash up is it just like, you know, you said, they can identify, you know, the sperm of everybody is unique, or the hair or whatever. But if they take it, it can actually tell, find the person, and it will help you get, it might not heal you, but it will help you get justice and deter,
part of it.
and deter some people.
Because anybody could stand on the ground of, I wasn't the one, or she agreed to it, it wasn't a rape. And then, you know, then after that there will be medical processes of contraception so that fertility doesn't occur. And you know, funny enough, apart from pedophiles, they target fertile women between the age of 15 and 25. So you find out that most rape victims come out with pregnancies. You know, that keeps the memory of that hurt for you for long. Yes.
So it's even beyond just the act of rape. You just want to inflict pain on another person.
A lifelong pain. You know? So things like that. Some people have victoriously overcome. Even I saw the video of a lady that was raped by her boss in the office, and she got pregnant for twins, boys. It was on social media. And you know, they've grown now. Such handsome boys. You know, she had to leave work. She was just a teenager then, I think 16 or so. And she has grown past it. These boys have become so useful and a blessing to her life. And the story has inspired a lot of young people too. So you actually make a choice of what life throws to you. But it's 98% of how you react to it. So eventually, and you know, the medical process, apart from pregnancy, it could prevent, you know, STI, sexually transmitted infections, HIV, and other things. Because these rapists too they don't have sexual hygiene.
Of course.
So they don't protect
themselves.
They didn't come to you with a condom. So you can be sure that if they've had other experiences, they could pick up infections too and pass it on. So that's the advantage of opening up, so that you could get help and prevent a lot of things around.
And one of the importance of opening up is for yourself.
For yourself, you get healing.
To get healing.
You get healing.
Yes. So if you know, the one that is even, I don't even know how to ask it.
Okay.
Is, you know, where your father has abused you sexually, or your uncle, you know, I don't even know how to ask that question, because it's a hard one. You know, where do you even start from? You know, it's a tough one. I can't even think of it. I can't even think of it happening to somebody that
and it has been happening to a lot of people. I read a story of a girl in the US that had been raped from age 3 by her father. And this is not a foster or a stepfather. this a biological father, was moved to her grandparents' home, and like to her, she felt she had a demon that was just chasing her.
Of course.
As soon as she got there, her cousins started raping her. So age 5, age 7, age 13, she now moved in with a boy. You know, you get numb at a point. You want to run away from it, because you know, in life you have times of your downs and times of your ups. So when you're down, everything comes to you and you want to just leave. You know, the body, the human life seeks to get balance. So you'll be trying to either run away from it because you can't stay in it continuously. And that's how she kept moving from one abusive relationship to the other, until God led her to a God-fearing man that helped her save herself. But just like we said, there's this one person. It may be one, it may be two, it may be multitudes of people that when you cry out to God, I need help. I think that's the first place.
Yes, first.
To God first. God, where are you? I need help. I can't help myself. I'm bottled up. You know, this even where I'm heading to. I don't even know what to do. I feel like stabbing this man, you know, or whatever. Then God sends you the help
that you need.
But we need to first cry out to God. Then He will lead us to the right people, so that we don't keep falling into that sin, you know? Because you may not find that help, maybe from your mother. You may not even find it there.
Because some people, their mothers know.
They know and they didn't do anything about it. They didn't save you. You were at home when it was happening. You know? So, cry out to God first. And a problem is a problem. Maybe big or small. Just like we say, a sin is a sin. Whether it's a murder case or you just stole a biscuit. You know? But just like the starting point is to declare your your helplessness and surrender to God. He's our ultimate help, and He knows where to lead us to
help us.
Yes. And there's no magnitude that cannot be healed. There's nothing bigger than our God that He cannot solve.
And I think the other one is to feel that you'll never find anybody that will love you genuinely.
No.
There is God just knows how to do this
Yes, He
thing.
does it. He's just so wonderful.
Knows how to
He first feels it in your heart, and He'll give you the confidence to a physical person.
Yes. There's so many. If I don't know if maybe somebody's watching and you're a victim, don't just tell yourself
give up on
that.
people.
Don't give up.
Don't give up on.
They are really
yourself.
lovely people. They are lovely fathers. They are lovely husbands. They are lovely people that are kind. God has a lot of them. A lot of them, and He can send anyone your way. But just cry out to Him. Just open up to Him.
If you don't get to the point of a surrender, you don't get full help. You know, sometimes we think we could do it on our own. Let me try as much as I can do, you know. But when you get to the point that I can't help myself, then God takes over everything.
Helps,
everything.
And when God brings His own help, it's just
it's sweet, permanent.
It's the sweetest. But I want to now. I think we're wrapping up now. Are there signs that a lady can watch out for? This is. Because it was later, and I started realizing, this person was actually giving the signs, but I didn't.
You didn't
and you know, one dangerous thing was that
because
I
you trusted.
Quiet. Yes, I kept quiet, and I didn't talk about it. And this person did exactly the same thing to my roommate.
You can imagine.
And then before we knew what was happening, he had done it to several other ladies, and then
because it was quiet,
all of us kept
it was
quiet.
Disjointed.
So the day I discussed it with my friend, she was like, "It happened to you?" I said, "Yes, it happened to me." We were hiding it because he was supposedly a pastor. Well,
let's leave that.
That's a story for.
Yes, there are always warning signs. Just like you see in an abusive relationship or marriage, you hear the lady always saying, he showed signs, but I didn't take note. One thing I want everybody to know is that a rapist starts from the familiar. He won't come to you as the stranger, except for opportunistic rape that happens when someone takes advantage of you, like an armed robber. He's a stranger. But let me tell you, 98% of rapes happens from a familiar person. And as much as possible, it's unfortunate we're in this kind of setting where we can't trust just anybody. You know, when you're teaching young girls, little girls, about, you know, like in schools now, teaching them about bad touch and good touch. Go as far as telling them that touch from even daddy should not be allowed. Uncle cousin. You know why? It's not because we want daddy to be sad that he can't hug his little daughter.
But it also help her.
It will help her
No,
that if she can set her boundaries with daddy, she can set it with anybody.
And daddy should understand.
Daddy
that
understands.
Training her.
He's training his
because if
baby
daddy touches you anyhow, you might permit anybody to do that. Yeah.
Yes. Because daddy's friend that will do it, you will see that daddy's friend as daddy.
Yeah.
That uncle or that senior brother's friend, you know, it comes from the familiar people. The people that are accepted at home. That cleaner comes to the house, or the mechanic, or the gardener, you know, or the security man, could just be the perpetrator. So if we start from that environment to always have this antenna up, you know, and set those boundaries, it helps them for whatever they'll face later outside. So it starts from the familiar. Most times it's not from the stranger. When you hear people, and then now that we're in the social media age, people monitor us on our phones. Parents that give children phones. An uncle or a friend calling and asking if you're at home alone. Where are you?
Where are you?
Finding your locations. You know, even hired assassins, they monitor you like that. They'll first ask you, you know, are you home yet? Or where are you? You're giving your location.
Those questions.
You're saying who and who is around. Oh no, I'm alone at home. It's innocent. But the person that has a plan knows what he's looking for in his questions or her questions. Oh, I want a surprise party for mommy, and we're planning it with a group of people. We don't want her to know, so don't say it. You know, meet us in XYZ place so that we could surprise her. Could also be a tricky plan. So
imagine if you don't tell mommy, tell somebody else.
You know,
or go along with somebody or some.
So and you know, once you think of gang raping, date rapes where drinks are drugged, you know, and all those things. And just like we know, alcoholic people have one of the highest tendencies to rape. And then cocaine users and other drugs of abuse, because it impedes your normal sense of judgment. And so you don't hear no as no.
No, what
you just start and finish, because your aggression increases and every other thing has been distorted. So we have to be careful the kind of circle we keep.
And this should also work in both ways, with the guys and the women.
Yes.
You know, the woman keeps luring you, come to my house now. Come on, are you not a man? You are a big boy.
You're man enough.
You're a man
and your
enough.
ego doesn't want to
want you to be bruised.
So
bruise that ego and don't go there.
Crush it with a sledgehammer, like I always say.
And don't go there.
Even male. Yeah.
That's
nowadays,
true.
Some people don't keep male housemaids with male children because of abuse.
The abuse.
You know? So we all have to be watchful on all sides. Young, growing teenage boys, handsome looking, intelligent. You find a man telling you to come and meet even adult men. I must confess, you find 38, 42-year-old men having older men or even pimps coming to meet you and say, there's this business proposal. You know, everybody wants to make it now. So when you hear that a man, you won't think that somebody will want to rape you. You know, or have anal sex with you. So you have a meeting, but you know, orgas meet at so time, so you have to come in around 10. And you may have to sleep over. Then you find a group of, and you think you're safe just in your same-sex gathering. You may not be safe.
And there's something one of our fathers who came to speak to us says, sometimes if somebody is calling you and it doesn't feel right, then it's not right. And
follow your intuition.
If it doesn't feel right,
it's not right.
It's not right.
Don't justify it. Don't start analyzing it and justifying it. You will just go off. And you find out that first initial trigger, that uncomfortable sensation you had, unexplained, don't put words to it.
No words to it, yes, because that's the thing. You just and because many people you see them said, how did you say? I knew that.
I had this bad feeling. I didn't explain it.
I couldn't explain it.
I had a girl that said her twin sister had a relationship. That boy, when they were younger, you know, they used to play together. So sometimes she'll go and hit his chest. And one day he said, I'll revenge. And that day her sister didn't follow them for the choir practice, and they were alone. When they just got to one part, and by then she was already in her puberty, so she was already growing breast. That's how he just hit her on the chest. And for her, she took it
as a
joke. No, she didn't take it as a joke. She actually took it seriously and hated him from then on. But she didn't say anything about it. Eventually, that boy became her twin sister's boyfriend, and she never liked the relationship. They were even at the verge of getting married when the relationship scattered, and found out that he had been abusing a lot of women.
Wow.
And she said she was happy that she didn't keep that bad intuition, you know. Everybody in her home knew that she didn't like the guy. So things like that.
Yeah.
When they always say the conscience of man is the eye of God in us.
Yes.
He gave everybody, good or bad, that intuition. Do you know animals have that intuition? They can feel from the ground when there's going to be an earthquake, when an enemy is coming. So he gave all of us. We just have to listen to ourselves. Listen to
if it doesn't feel right, then it's not right.
Yes, it's not right.
Wow, we've exhausted all our time for today.
And we could have still gone
on and on. But I think I really learned a lot today, that you know, the family has been the number one of everything. From victim to the perpetrator, the family is the center of it. So we must start. So if you're not married and you're planning to get a family, do a plan on how you're going to bring up your kids, the kind of intentionally. If you need to read books, by chance. If you need to, whatever you need to do, because that's the beginning of everything.
You have to discipline yourself to show a good example, because children don't learn by what you say.
It's
they
what
just
you do.
punch up what you do.
My niece does it. Once you pick up this thing, the next moment she's going to do it.
She's doing it.
Because she's just watching and now,
don't you see how they sit down and just echo back a whole phrase of what you dramatize? Will you stop that? Then you'll be wondering, where did you know?
So very important that we watch those things. And then for people that have been raped or abused, please cry out for help. Cry out for help. Don't look down on yourself. You're not the problem.
No.
The person who did it is the one who had the problem. And thank you very much.
Thank you too.
Thank you so much for coming on the
privilege
program.
too.
Thank you. I'll still be calling you back for some more.
With all pleasure.
The discussion flows naturally.
Yes, it's so sweet. I also learn a lot and leave here refreshed.
You're refreshed. Thank you so much for coming on the program. So thank you, viewers, for staying with us for the past almost 50 to an hour now. I've been talking on the issue of sexual abuse, and my guest today has been the pharmacist Nevan Bello. She's a consultant pharmacist and a public health analyst. She was on this program before, and she's here with us today. We have learned a lot about rape, sexual abuse. If you are a victim, please cry out for help. If you're somebody who is actually a perpetrator who is raping other people, you also need help. Cry out for help. And parents, family is very important. Please raise your kids well. That's the foundation and the building block of everything. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'll see you next week. I'm Angela Weze.